A lot of viewers might look at the screen and instantly think, wait, why does that guy look so familiar? That sense of recognition belonged to actor Spencer Lofranco, a rising talent who once starred alongside Hollywood icons like John Travolta, worked under the direction of Angelina Jolie, and delivered emotionally charged performances in films such as Jamesy Boy, Unbroken, and Gotti. His face, his intensity, and his presence were unmistakable. But today we are not talking about a new movie premiere or a career milestone. Instead, the entertainment world is mourning the loss of a star gone far too soon. At only 33 years old, Spencer Lofranco has passed away, leaving fans, friends, and family devastated. News of his death first surfaced through an Instagram post believed to belong to his brother Santino Lofranco, who shared heart-wrenching childhood photos and memories. He called Spencer a legend and wrote that he lived a life most could only dream of. He ended his tribute with an emotional message. "I will always love you and miss you, Bear." However, he did not reveal what caused his brother's death, leaving the public with sadness, confusion, and an endless swirl of questions. While the official cause has not been announced, fans have pointed to signs of emotional struggle that had been visible online in the months leading up to Spencer's passing. In recent years, followers noticed that Spencer had been posting emotional and unusual videos talking about life, pressure, spirituality, and even drug use. At one point, he mentioned experimenting with substances and described trying to understand reality in abstract ways. In one video, he spoke about how a color could become a number and how a number could represent a person. He openly admitted that he once used any drugs he could get his hands on in an attempt to lock in his focus and creativity. His online messages became deeper, more philosophical, sometimes darker, as though he was searching for meaning in places most people never go. His final video, posted only days before his death, now feels haunting. In it, he said, "Always argue with your dad because he wants you to be just like him." The line was raw and emotional, and fans now watch it with heavy hearts, wondering whether he was trying to share something deeper, something he couldn't explain directly. But before the emotional weight of his last months, there was an extraordinary career that showed how far talent and determination can go. Spencer Lofranco first landed major attention in 2014 when he took on the lead role in the drama film Jamesy Boy. In the movie, he portrayed a troubled gang-involved teenager whose life spirals into danger and eventually lands him in prison. However, inside those walls, he meets a mentor played by veteran actor Ving Rhames, who helps him find a new direction and purpose. The film was based on real events, which allowed Spencer to pull from his own past and create a performance that felt heartbreakingly real. In an interview, Spencer revealed that he could deeply relate to the character because he had lived a difficult childhood and had been surrounded by drugs at a young age. Eventually, he even ended up being sent to a military school for 4 years. He said that as a teen, he considered himself troubled, and the structure of that school played a huge part in redirecting his life. This personal history became a key part of why his performance in Jamesy Boy felt so authentic. It was not just acting. It was someone returning to painful memories and transforming them into art. That performance opened doors. His talent and intensity caught the attention of major figures in the industry, leading to his role in Angelina Jolie's Oscar-nominated film Unbroken. Acting in a film of that magnitude didn't just heighten his profile. It signaled to Hollywood that Spencer Lofranco was not just another young actor. He was someone with the emotional depth and acting range needed to stand on the same stage as major stars. Then came his highest-profile project, the crime biographical film Gotti, where he played John Gotti Jr., opposite John Travolta, who portrayed the legendary mob boss John Gotti Sr. Entertainment news program ET visited the set in Cincinnati in 2016, where Spencer sat down for a candid interview. He described what it was like preparing for such a major role. He explained that he spent countless hours watching YouTube videos, observing how John Gotti Jr. spoke, moved, reacted, and carried himself. He wanted to embody the man as accurately as possible, not just physically but emotionally and mentally. He spoke with excitement about working with John Travolta, saying they formed a genuine father and son bond on set, something that he believes showed up clearly in the final film. He also praised Kelly Preston, who played his mother. He described the acting team as warm, professional, and encouraging, and that the experience felt unique and special. But even then, Spencer showed humility and perspective. When asked whether he felt pressure taking on such a major real-life figure, he answered that he didn't feel the pressure personally. Instead, he felt pressure for the entire film. He saw himself as just one piece of a larger puzzle. He said his job was simply to show up, do the work, give his performance everything he had, and trust that the entire team would make it something meaningful. Even outside of acting roles, Spencer had a distinctive way of speaking about life. He often discussed themes of identity, growth, energy, connection, and purpose. He talked about how important it was to stay in your own lane, to keep your side of the street clean, and to focus on operating in a space of light and love. He believed that once a person truly understood themselves, new doors and opportunities would naturally begin to open. His interviews and videos showed someone who thought deeply, sometimes intensely, about how the world works and how one should move through it. But while those philosophical reflections made him stand out, they also showed hints of inner conflict. Fans noticed the tone of his posts changing over time. What once sounded like inspiration began sounding like pain, uncertainty, or distraction. Many followers expressed concern, wondering whether Spencer was dealing with pressure, confusion, unresolved trauma, or emotional battles happening away from public view. No one knew the full truth, but looking back, some feel the signs were visible. Regardless of the private struggles, what made Spencer special on screen was that he told stories that connected with audiences on a real level. When he played young men who felt trapped, angry, lost, or desperate, viewers believed him. They believed him because those performances came from a place of truth. He didn't need to imagine what brokenness felt like. He had lived through it. And that truth transferred into every moment he spent in front of the camera. There is always a difficult tragedy in seeing a life cut short, especially one that showed such potential, such passion, and such drive to grow. Spencer Lofranco was not just an actor with talent. He was someone trying to evolve as a human being while letting the world see parts of that journey. For fans, co-stars, family, and friends, his loss is more than just the passing of a screen presence. It is the sudden silence of a voice that still had so much to say. At just 33 years old, he had already worked with some of the biggest names in Hollywood, delivered performances that touched thousands, and built a career that many dream of but few experience. Yet his most powerful legacy may not simply be the roles he played, but the truths he was willing to share. Truths about mistakes, change, struggle, and the effort to become better. Today, audiences who revisit his performances in Jamesy Boy, Unbroken, or Gotti will watch them with a new weight. They will see a young man acting his heart out, giving everything to every frame, trying to channel the painful parts of his own history into something that could inspire or move others. And they will also feel the sadness of knowing that a rising talent with so much more to give is no longer here to keep telling those stories. The world has lost Spencer Lofranco, but it has not lost the impact he made. His work, his words, his emotions, and his fight for meaning remain frozen in time, preserved in the films, interviews, and moments he left behind. His journey reminds us that behind every face on the screen is a real person, one with battles, dreams, wounds, and hopes. May he be remembered not just for how he died, but for the passion he brought to his craft, the honesty he shared with the world, and the legacy he created in just 3 decades of life. Rest in peace, Spencer. Your story, your voice, and your art will continue to live on.